My name is Malcolm, and I've had long COVID since October 2020. I wanted to start like my own basketball training kind of business and fitness training business. And I just got my NASM certification the night before I got sick. And I woke up and was never the same. I was getting brain fog, difficulty concentrating, some memory issues. I actually did end up getting vaccinated July 2021. The first shot was okay. The second shot is when I started developing neurological issues. Also, my fatigue and everything kind of got a little bit worse from, my initial infection. And I developed the ringing of the ears as well. I was still able to work part-time. I couldn't train people anymore, but I worked around like 3 to 4 hours a day at an after-school program. After a while, when the symptoms began to worsen, I just could not do it anymore at all. I remember I was staying with my mom at the time, and I told her, like, I can't do it. And I just started gradually getting worse and worse, and the fatigue and like the POTS like symptoms and dysautonomia and everything, to where I'm at today, where I can sometimes I could barely walk a block without my heart rate going crazy. About a year later, I went to a cardiologist, and he told me, you have long COVID. And he said, you should go to Mount Sinai. They have a long COVID clinic. They really didn't have any answers. They just confirmed that I had long COVID there. But I was just recommended, trying to take walks and download little brain games for my brain fog and whatnot. But there was nothing. There was no treatment. If I could go back in time, I would tell myself to relax. But I still try to work until I couldn't work. Then I still try to be functional, do chores, go out and do laundry and whatnot until I couldn't anymore. So I kept decreasing the levels of, how much I can function. And then every single level I kept pushing. And that's what people don't understand is it's not like one day you wake up and you're like, oh, my life is ruined. It's like you try to hold on to that. There were kind of room to push through sickness and fatigue and whatnot, but it just makes everything worse. I wish we could somehow show just really how debilitating it is. Like me going from a professional athlete to now I need help doing little daily things. I can't really cook for myself, do laundry. I wish we put more of an emphasis on treatment and testing. There's so much tests that show abnormal things in long COVID patients, and they're not available. I recently got results from a microclot test back, but that's because I got accepted into a study. Although there's no treatments right now, you should be able to at least at a long COVID clinic, go get the right test and see what's wrong with you. They do the standard tests and imaging and MRIs, and everything comes back normal. And, then they offer you some anxiety medicine, and you're on your way out the door. It can happen to anybody. And it's not just, the quote unquote vulnerable. It'll flip your world upside down. And what people don't realize is there are little to no resources for you in any sort of way. Financial help, medical help. I'm so grateful to have a pretty good support system, and to where I can fall back on family and they can help me. But if somebody doesn't have that, you have the potential to lose your home, become homeless. And I would never think 5 years ago, if you told me what would happen from the life I had before, to freaking not being able to walk to the store without almost passing out. We need help, and I just can't believe it's just a staggering number, the amount of people that are going through this, and they've pretty much been just left, thrown under the bus almost. I think long COVID is an emergency, and they should treat it as such and give it the proper funding.
Hi, I'm a registered nurse who's been maimed by long COVID. Before COVID, I was very healthy and active. When I went down from COVID, I went down hard. I was debilitated and unable to function on my own. 4 months later, when I was able to go back to work, I was immediately asked to step down from my role as nursing supervisor. When I asked my employer for accommodations, They simply said they didn't have any. After several meetings with HR and my manager and fighting so hard to keep my job so that I could have health insurance and make sure my family was covered, I was out of fight. The mountain was too big and there was zero support. It's abominable that someone who has been a successful nurse for over 20 years that now has a legitimate disability diagnosis under the ADA gets eye rolls and looks of disdain from their coworkers and zero support from their employer. It's a shame the medical community as a whole dismisses the very people who take care of the sickest people in town. I left that employer 1 year ago, but I find myself in a similar situation today. As I have been out sick with COVID, I've had a hospitalization, and now I have more diagnoses on my chart. My health is declining, and I am forced to sell my home, the home in which I raised my kids, in the neighborhood that I grew up in. It is completely and utterly incomprehensible that there are zero FDA-approved medications for long COVID. There have been hundreds of journal articles citing that SARS-CoV-2 causes immune dysfunction, specifically depletion of the T cells. We have been screaming for the CDC, FDA, whoever, to draw a parallel between HIV/AIDS and long COVID. This must be done.
I'm in a lot of pain, have light sensitivity. That's why I'm wearing these dark tinted glasses, because my eyes hurt. I spend most of my day in this bed. There are days that I can barely get up to go to the bathroom or make a meal. I have malabsorption and can barely eat food, as long COVID has attacked my GI system. I'm one of the invisible people that people don't see when you're out running your errands. Because I'm so debilitated from long COVID, I spend my days at home Instacarting my groceries, and I only go to medical appointments if I absolutely have to go. I used to love performing, and I loved the concerts, and I loved karaoke, and I loved hanging out with my friends, and I was a foodie, and I loved going to restaurants, and I loved being outdoors. And now I haven't been outside in 2 months, not because I don't want to, but because I'll faint. I have to have a shower chair because I'm in so much physical pain. I have chest pain from doing absolutely nothing. I've tried both Western and Eastern medicine, and I'm scared to go to the doctors because they're not masking, and I have a lot of people in the communities who are high risk, who are still COVIDing, who are getting exposed to COVID at medical appointments. Enough infections makes you high risk. Let me tell you, this is a miserable life. Protect yourself. Your health is wealth. Nothing is worth this pain. Nothing is worth this amount of suffering. And let me tell you, it's mighty expensive. It takes everything from you. It'll take not only your peace of mind and just your ability to make money, to do the things that you love, and it can cost you medical bankruptcy and make you homeless. I was a very different person. I was articulate, and I loved life. And I'm trying not to cry because my entire life has changed and I'm not living. I'm just existing.
I've had long COVID for almost 2 years. I used to be a person who danced, who ran, who cycled, who did yoga, who worked really hard, who used to socialize and hang with the family and be the life of the party, and all of that is gone. I want to contribute. I want to be the person that I once was. Please help.
I have had immune deficiency, but that has been made worse by COVID. I now have lymphocytopenia, low T and B cells, as a result of COVID, which was never part of my immune deficiency before. I have new allergies. I have cognitive dysfunction. I have what is called POTS. It makes walking difficult, whereas I used to be able to do multiple dog walks a day, mow my grass, do gardening, yard work. But now multiple flights of stairs can be too much for me. I've had 6 COVID infections, 3 of which were acquired in medical settings. I had heart damage. It is suspected to be myocarditis. I will be undergoing an MRI. It is a great risk for me. I have lesions on my face. I have had chickenpox since May of 2022. I can no longer fight off even the infections in my body that were from childhood. They also think that I am fighting Epstein-Barr, and I have to be on antibiotics and antivirals and antifungals every single day. There is no course and I'm done. I must be on these medications all the time now. I have to be on medications for my heart, and I have to be on medications for my allergies, and I have to be on medications for autoimmunity, and I have to be on a special diet for autoimmunity. I can't even absorb the nutrients in my food. I have to take so many vitamins, and even then my nutrient levels, my mineral levels, they're low. In a week, I will be sick 4 years. And I have scarcely had a reprieve, and even the best off-label drugs, I feel, are only partially able to slow the tide of my deterioration. I have lost all my muscles. I can barely sleep these days, and I'm losing my ability to do even part-time work. I am not a quitter. I couldn't even afford to get the health insurance that I needed if I needed to be on disability. I am asking for the government, for independent researchers, for philanthropists, for anyone who is well, and then also those of us who are already not, to come together, and you will be saving not only the people who are already sick, but you'll be saving yourselves by investing in treating and long COVID. Because this is what I want to get back to. It is where my heart is. And my soul won't quit until my body does.
Millions are suffering, no matter the age, no matter their previous health, no matter their wealth or their status. Most are suffering in silence, are being dismissed, pushed aside, labeled by their doctors as anxious, being told that there would be some that would fall by the wayside. This needs to end. As a professional working with seniors, the effect of multiple infections on an already vulnerable population has been detrimental. The rapid cognitive decline I've witnessed is one I never thought I would see. And yet, still, we aren't focusing on any kind of prevention. Nursing homes are no longer safe. And as a parent, I'm horrified at what we are doing to our future generations, allowing them into unsafe schools, using them as hosts to spread an imaginary herd immunity that we've known from the beginning doesn't exist. Knowing what this virus does, knowing the viral persistence, knowing that it can affect every single organ in our bodies. We need workers for the economy, but we need them healthy. We need parents able to provide for their children. We need children to be healthy. We're now 5 years in, and still a lack of next generation vaccines, antivirals, therapeutics, and any protections to provide a safe society that everyone can be a part of. This has to change. This is a national emergency, and until our leaders step up and realize this, it will only get worse. More suffering, more deaths, all from a preventable virus.
So it's time to be loud. It's time to use our voices for those who may have lost theirs, for the kids, for our grandparents, and for anyone who is out there being erased. We're stronger together, and we will only be safe when we are all safe.